Yo, Elliott. I've come to realize I'm a real douchebag towards women. This has been a problem my whole life. I specifically remember my single mom crying on the steps of our apartment when I was about 6 years old. And I said, why do women cry over nothing? You can imagine how that went. There have been other times where I have been just as blatantly honest and inconsiderate of women's feelings, and 9 out of 10 times they break down. My question today is this something I should remedy or try to change to be quote unquote nicer when engaging with the opposite sex? Or should I stay hard, authentic, and honest? Any thoughts on this are appreciated. So I think it's the way that you would deal with basically anyone, right? Like you want to be authentic, but you also want to be charitable, meaning like if you're going to say something or you're going to be with somebody in a certain way, it has to be for the will of the other. A lot of times we say things and we're trying to be based, right? Yo, I'm just being myself. I'm just saying the truth. They're just facts, and you might be facts when you're dealing with women. It's facts. But to speak facts in a charitable way is to say it in a way that they can receive. Because if you really love that person or you really care for that person, the things that you're saying is meant for their betterment. It's meant for their uplifting. My dad has a way of saying things really harsh, and my mom would say this all the time. Edmund, you're right, but the way you're saying it makes it wrong. And he never got that. He would always be like, all right, that don't make any sense to me. Oh, it's right, and that's all it is. That's all that matters. And then she would use this example, and I kind of understand it, right? And so if we want to be understood, we must seek to understand also. And so it's good for us to seek to understand women and not just be a hard ass all the time, right? And so in order to help understand, my mom said this to my dad. She would say, listen, sweetheart, if I give you a steak, beautiful ribeye steak with all the garnishments on it, and, beautifully juicy, I put it on a garbage can top. I take the garbage can top off and I put the steak on it. Now, that's a great steak. That's a beautiful steak. That's a delicious steak. That's a nourishing steak. But how I serve it to you has everything to do with your willingness and your ability to receive that steak. And of course, I was a kid and I would hear it and I would say, I understand what my mom's trying to say. He's not wrong. You're not wrong. Maybe they are facts, but to be charitable, specifically towards women, would mean to say it in a way that she can receive it. Are you right? Yeah, I'm right. And that's the way my dad is, right? Like, damn right, I'm right. I'm just spitting facts. That's all I'm saying is facts. But you couldn't be received. My mom would close up. She would just close down and be like, well, I can't hear you. I can't hear you because of what you're saying. And I'm this way also too. So I understand where you're coming from. One of my daughters is really sensitive. She's a really sensitive girl. And so I could say something that is totally logical, makes perfect sense, but because I'm saying it loud or I'm saying it fast or I'm saying it with wide eyes or I'm using my arms or I'm being emphatic or charismatic, she clenches up, she closes up and she can't hear it. And then my wife would have to remind me, she says, Elliott, she cannot receive it because of the way you're saying it. And so you could spit facts, but the heart's just going to be like, I can't handle it. With women, you don't sway them with facts. Trying to change her mind with facts or with logic is not going to work. Here's the scientific facts. Here's the political facts. Here's the spiritual facts. Here is it written down. You're not going to remedy problems with women like that. That's number one. Should I stay hard? No, because she can't receive it in her heart if you stay hard. If you stay hard when you're dealing with women, it's like putting the steak on the garbage can lid. And then he goes, quote unquote, be nicer. No, that means be a beta male. And that means bend to her will. That means apologize. And that basically means no attraction. You depolarize a relationship. Because being nicer for a man in a world that you assert is trying to make us equal basically gives you a vagina. When you're trying to be nice as a man, it basically means be more like a girl. So you don't solve it with logic. You don't solve it with violence. And you damn sure don't put your tail between your legs or put your front tail between your legs and become a transgender. You elevate the conversation. You elevate it to the heart space, to the feeling space. You got to bring it to her heart. You got to bring the circumstance to her heart. And it all has everything to do with the way she feels. Women respond to feelings regardless of what the feelings are. So you know how I told you how about my dad is and my mom? The reason why my parents' relationship works so well also because my dad is always giving my mom frustrated feelings. And so she'd be like, "Oh, Edmund, that's not the way it is." And he's like, and then he just laughs and says, "Well, that's just the way I am." And she's like, "Oh, I hate him, but oh, I love him so much," because he's giving her feelings. So you got to deal with women on a feelings level. And you know what that requires? That requires you be a little clever. You got to be a little clever. And it also requires that you're not in your feels. If you're caught up in your feels as a man, you can't deal with a woman in a resourcefully emotional way because your emotions are coloring the situation, right? If you see a woman doing something or she's acting in a way or she's misconstruing something and you get frustrated, you get angry, you get despondent, you get sad or depressed, now you can't see clear enough to deal with her. Anyway, that's my advice on that, dude. Hope that helps. Done.
Yo, Elliott.